No huge stories this week, but a number of news and notes concerning Iowa football to run down. We'll try to stir up some conversation with all of you. Leave those comments and questions there in the chat for Hawkeyes Live number 233. My name's Mark Rogers. Corey Bratta right next to me from the Hawkeye of the Storm. We're presented by FanDuel as well. Corey, how you doing today?
Good. Yeah, February 10th. It's middle of nowhere season, I guess, for football fans, but that's okay. You know, now you can kind of feel like you're moving on to the next leg of your football fandom, and that is spring practice for college athletes. Super Bowl's in our rear view mirror. Congratulations to the Seahawks, to Mason Richmond. I thought it was a horrendous game, one of the worst Super Bowls that I can recall, and nothing to do with the halftime show. I made a comment about the game itself, and everybody's, I got people jumping on me about being critical. Had nothing to do. I wasn't commenting on the halftime show. I was commenting on the game. The game stunk. Somebody summed it up really well, I thought, in my comments on that post on Twitter. They said it reminded me of a Week 8 Thursday night football game. And that's exactly how I would sum it up. It reminded me of a Thursday night football game in the middle of the season. Like, it looked like two teams. Like, obviously, Seahawks have a really good defense. I don't know what New England showed that, like, I know they earned their way there. Like, you got to earn your way to the Super Bowl, right? Although they did beat a Broncos team that was down their quarterback, really weird weather conditions. But it is what it is. They earned their way there. I thought it was a horrible game. I used to get excited about commercials. I can't remember a single commercial from Sunday. I know the ratings were really high. I guess that's just because more and more people watch football every year. That's the only thing I can, attribute that to. But I thought the game was really bad. It's just as far as being exciting or interesting.
Yeah. I watched 2 Super Bowl games this week, and neither one of them occurred on Sunday. So I occupied my time on 2 particular nights this week by just saying, you know what? I just feel like watching an old Super Bowl. I just sat and watched an old Super Bowl, not for 4 hours, like cut down version, 90 minutes, boom, 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 2 different Super Bowls. I did not see the Super Bowl. I cannot tell you what happened in one play of the Super Bowl.
I'm surprised at least you didn't want to watch the Super Bowl for simple fact of supporting Travion Henderson, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, because there's some good Ohio State players on those 2 rosters. I will say this heading into the game, though, in the playoffs, I had made the comment that, look, I didn't think the Super Bowl was going to be entertaining from a perspective of there weren't, like, the storylines. You can say what you want about Sam Darnold, but yeah, that's a good storyline, right? Like, he's been on several teams. He ends up being a starter in Seattle, plays really well. Like, he was really impressive. And he wins the Super Bowl. Great story, right? Drake May's really young. Jackson Smith and Jigba really young. Most productive player in the league this year offensively from a skill position standpoint. Great. And by the way, I had him on my fantasy team, so I'm happy that he had a productive year. But I guess heading into the game, I just thought this game lacked star power, and it lacked really cool storylines besides the Sam Darnold one. And that one just doesn't interest me for some reason. I don't know why, but to me, it lacked electric stars. And I got into a debate with someone on this subject, 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, and the NFC Championship game went final, Seahawks-Rams. And the reason I say it lacked star power is even if the Rams had won against the Seahawks, I think it lacked star power. Puka Nacua is a phenomenal, productive player, but he's not the kind of receiver that makes me tune in. The kind of receiver that makes me tune in historically in the Super Bowl, Tyreek Hill, okay? Even Percy Harvin in his heyday. I remember I couldn't wait to watch Percy Harvin when he was playing for the Seahawks. Was it the last time they were in the Super Bowl? I think did he take one back for a touchdown in that game? I believe on a kick return. I could be wrong on that. Those 2 guys, obviously, like Randy Moss, Hines Ward. Maybe maybe this is all from a nostalgia perspective. And I think Jackson Smith and Jigba is amazing. But I just, to me, there were no head-turning people with these 2 rosters. And again, Sam Darnold really did impress me. He played great. And, they have phenomenal players on defense, but it just, I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of everything.
Boy, I would not and did not arrive at that conclusion when I was your age, that's for sure. I never imagined that there would be a time that I could care less to watch a Super Bowl.
Well, I watched it. I mean, I wasn't gonna miss it. I mean, just when I think of great Super Bowl games growing up, it was like the Kurt Warner versus Big Ben game. That was great. Larry Fitzgerald, Hines Ward, Ben Roethlisberger, Kurt Warner.
Sure.
I mean, that's
Let's
what I'm
not forget
talking
who
about.
caught the game-winning touchdown pass and won the MVP in that game.
Well, was that before Antonio Brown?
That was Antonio Holmes,
Oh, Holmes,
Ohio
sure.
State. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also James Harrison. I mean, there were so many great players on those two rosters. And again, there's great players on these rosters. I mean, even the Patriots Falcons a few years back, to me, that was interesting seeing Matt Ryan in his heyday with Julio Jones. And then the other side, you have Tom Brady, and his crew. Like, I don't know. It's just, to me, it was a little less interesting. And I don't like the Chiefs at all, but they have players that are head turners. Patrick Mahomes being, example A. So, as far as someone I would have liked to have seen in the Super Bowl, I would have loved to have seen the Steelers so that I could have rooted against Aaron Rodgers. That would have given me something interesting to do because I don't
Rooting
like
against Aaron Rodgers?
I don't like Aaron Rodgers. So that would have been interesting, at the least. I think Lamar Jackson, like, he's the type of guy that if he could get to a Super Bowl, he's electric. Yes, partly because of his mobility. But it's not all that, right? Josh Allen, he's mobile, but he's a big dude. To me, he'd be a great dude to watch. Hey, I even enjoyed Joe Burrow a few years back in the Super Bowl. So I don't know, just something about Drake May and Sam Darnold. I couldn't care less.
Yeah, for me, it's more just there's something about the NFL that turns me off.
You used to like the NFL, right?
Oh, absolutely. More than liked it. Was pretty much obsessed. Was more of a NFL junkie than a college football junkie.
Now, you did see the post I sent you about production at linebacker. Somebody shared this in the Hawkeye social media sphere. But based on production over the last 5 years in the league, Iowa has the 7th best production at linebacker in the league. So nobody really ever includes Iowa in the discussion for linebacker U. Now, I do believe that that's probably Wisconsin. I've been saying that for a while. And a lot of their production, my guess is it's from 2000. The players that played at Wisconsin from 2015 to 19. I'm trying to think of those guys' names, but man, they had some good linebackers in there.
You're narrowing down linebacker U to a 5-year span?
Well, I'm just saying that production over the last 5 years, my guess is the core of that are the guys that played from that span at Wisconsin, because they have the bet from these numbers that I'm looking at from Deeg Sports. Wisconsin has the best overall score, and it's not even close. They have the 3rd most tackles overall, the most sacks from a linebacker group. That's the wrong graphic. They have the most forced fumbles, and it's not even close. The most interceptions, most tackles for loss by linebackers. So I don't. Again, somebody will probably bring it up in the chat as to who I'm talking about. But
yeah, my mind is blank when I cannot get this to set right. Oh my word.
Yeah, like I'm thinking
traffic is going crazy on me.
TJ Edwards, Nick Herbig.
Yeah.
Who else am I thinking of here?
I can get my word. I cannot.
Andrew Van Ginkel. There was one other one that I think played for the Browns.
Oh, yes, there was. Yeah. Who would? Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Joe Schobert. 4th round pick in 2016. Really good player. So, and maybe he's not part of that production, but no, I guess the point is they've had really good linebackers out of Madison, and it is interesting to see Iowa's named there. Now that's going to take a hit. I'm trying to think when Kirksey and Hitchens have both walked away, right? I believe. I horrible keeping track of these guys, but they were playing into that span to some extent. What are you doing?
What is this doing? It's like going nuts.
You're doing that, or the computer's doing that?
Well, I'm doing it, trying to frame it, but it is super sensitive. Goodness gracious.
But yeah, so I don't know. The overall score must be a cumulative. Those stats that you see to the right of Iowa's name are the ones I named off: tackles, sacks, forced fumbles, interceptions, tackles for loss. And the only teams ahead of Iowa, according to this site, are Wisconsin, Georgia, LSU, Ohio State, Bama, and Penn State. So, like Josie Jewell, who's now, I think he's officially walked away from the game. I know injuries kind of did him in. Christian Welch has seen some time in the league. Obviously, Jack Campbell's at the forefront of it right now. He may be the best linebacker in the league. It's amazing to think that Iowa may have had what now could be the best linebacker and best corner on its team during that stretch of horrendous offensive play from 2020 to 2022, 23. And who else am I missing? Hitchens or Kirksey. Why am I not thinking of who I'm trying to? Higgins is not playing. Higgins is not playing in the league right now. I mean, he's there, but he's not actually getting production. So, but yeah, it's interesting. And whoever it was that tweeted something out that came across my timeline pointed out that Iowa has a bunch of 4-stars on its roster who will be competing for starting jobs this spring. So it shall be interesting to see who the next crop of really good talent at linebacker is. And they got a chance to have a guy or two drafted this year, probably just one in Carson Shire. I don't think Jaden Harrell did enough, and he dealt with some injuries his final year. I doubt he gets looked at. He'll probably get into camp somewhere with an opportunity to make something happen. But Carson Shire will get an opportunity. And, we could still see Jay Higgins take a big step forward in year 2 in the league.
Yeah. As soon as you mentioned Wisconsin linebacking play over the last several years, my mind just blank. I'm sitting here thinking, I know who all these guys are. As soon as I see the names, I've seen all these guys play like 25 times, but
yeah, I want to pull up.
I wasn't thinking of anyone.
I'm looking at their depth chart.
Borland. I can't even think of Borland's first name.
Borland. There's another one.
But is he the one who had retired? Like he was off to a great start in his career, and he had to retire his second or third season with San Francisco.
Okay. That could be. That could be. I'm looking at their depth chart, Wisconsin's depth chart from 2015. Their 2 deeps were Vince Beagle, Jesse Hayes, TJ Edwards, Ryan Connolly, Leon Jacobs, Chris Orr, Joe Schobert, and Jack Sickey. I mean, there's a lot of really good players in there. I just remember how difficult that Iowa won up there in 2015 off that crazy fumble at the goal line by, was it Joel Stave? Was he the guy who was running the show? And CJ Beathard, Desmond King, I think had 2 picks in that game. Joel Stave, I believe one of his center or right guard stepped on his foot as he's coming out from under center. And Faith Akakity, I think, was credited with the forced fumble on that play. There's a name that I haven't said in a while. Iowa defensive lineman Faith Akakity. So anyways, but yeah. And then the other thing I kind of sent you as a talking point was, this was interesting to see Pete Nakos of On3 tweet out something about his top quarterback battles. And I thought it was interesting already because it was earlier in, it was Rivals. It was Rivals just a couple of weeks ago that rated their top 10 quarterbacks in the 26 class, and they have Trayden Bessinger in the top 10. I'm no recruiting guru, okay? So I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, I can't believe that. But I'm also like, I have a hard time believing it. Like, I mean, if they got a top 10, keep in mind, they only got Bessinger because Cash Herrera decommitted, went to Indiana. Now I don't even know where he's at. Isn't he somewhere else? Did he go? Didn't he flip to Boise? I think Iowa basically traded Herrera for Bessinger. But the other guys who were in, according to Rivals, the other top quarterbacks in the 26 class, Jared Curtis, Vanderbilt, Keyshawn Henderson, Houston, Jet Tomala, Alabama, Dia Bell, Texas, Faison Brandon, Tennessee, Ryder Lyons, BYU, Jake, is it Fetty or Fett, Arizona State, Bo Bentley, Oklahoma, Grant Lawless, Wake Forest, and then number 10, Traden Bessinger, Iowa. So, and he doesn't enroll early. I saw somebody, asking it when Minakos came out with this list of his top quarterback battles heading into the season. Where's Bessinger? Well, he's not even here. So that doesn't mean he can't compete for the starting job. We brought that up, but it's going to be really hard to do so without a spring as a true freshman in this system. I just think it's going to be really difficult. If anybody can get him up to speed, maybe it's Tim Lester. But yeah, the top battles from Pete Nakos that I sent you here a little bit ago. What did you think of the group that he mixed in with with Iowa's top 2 quarterbacks on the roster or on the depth chart as of right now? I mean, I just thought it was I'm like, is this coming from an Iowa account? I'm like, no, this is coming from On3, like the On3 main account. If people missed it, I shared it on my Twitter, and here it is.
Here we go.
We can see it. I know it's kind of small.
Alabama, Keelan Russell, hotshot 5-star from 2 recruiting classes again. Austin Mack, he transferred from Washington with Kalen DeBoer, and he was a 5-star. Clemson quarterback battle with Cade Klubnik finally out of the way. I don't know that anyone's really that excited about any of those 3, although Chris Vizina has been in the program a long time, and he was a 5-star. Philo and Jones, neither one of those guys has really played. Aaron Philo played a little bit as a backup quarterback at Georgia Tech. We'll get back to Iowa, Nebraska. I got to think that based on what I've seen, that Anthony Calandria will be the starting quarterback in Nebraska. He was the starter at Virginia, then at UNLV. He's got a huge experience advantage.
Wait. What did you say about Clemson, Florida? Those guys are really highly regarded, or what? I guess I missed that.
The first quarterback named there for Clemson, Chris Vizina, he has been expected to be the heir apparent for a couple of years now. He's been in the program a long time. He was originally a 5-star, and he has not been impressive when he has had mop-up opportunities. Aaron Philo was a number of times battling for the starting job at Georgia Tech against Haynes King, and actually his predecessor never won the job, played a little bit here and there. I don't know much about Jones.
Jones.
And then I just mentioned Anthony Calandria from UNLV in Virginia, where he was the starter at both spots.
And obviously, TJ Lateef played some.
Yeah.
So that is an interesting battle. Is it Daniel Kalen? Did he play? Did he switch positions?
Daniel Kalen originally signed at Nebraska. Excuse me. Then I forget where he transferred to. So he's transferring back to Nebraska.
Yeah, and then Ryan Staub, George McIntyre, Faison Brandon at Tennessee. Are those names that you really even recognize?
Yeah, I don't.
Bo Pribula, Eli Holstein at Virginia.
Yeah, it's funny that Pribula would, as the starting quarterback in Missouri, would leave, and Eli Holstein never caught on at Alabama and then transferred to Pitt. And once he got hurt this past season, about 3 to 4 games into the season, in this, can't think of his first name, Wetchell, took over the job and didn't relinquish it. So Holstein, so they've got at least 2 fairly experienced options there.
But I just think, I'm looking at this group of 7, different program quarterback battles, and I'm thinking, maybe I'm just biased because I'm so used to poor quarterback play. And we've talked, I mean, this past year wasn't poor, but, in general, especially when Iowa doesn't, I mean, they haven't had a quarterback work out that they recruited at a high school since Nate Stanley. Now, I get it. Hecklinski, Brown were both transfers, but they weren't guys who were productive transfers. They were still developmental project guys. And so when I see their names associated with some of the other ones and some of the other programs on this list, I just find that interesting. Maybe Pete Nako's just pulling this out of his rear. I have no idea. But what do you think when you first glance at this list and you see a quarterback battle between Jeremy Hecklinski and Hank Brown listed?
Well, I don't know what his goal is in producing this list. If he means that these are the 7 most hotly contested quarterback battles, or these are the 7 best teams that still have quarterback battles.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question.
But to me, the highest ceiling there is between Mack and Russell at Alabama. The surest situation is between Prabula and Holstein at Virginia.
Yeah, I'm just the original caption from On3 was top college football QB battles heading into 2026 season. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if everybody seems to have this intel on Jeremy Hecklinski. This intel that he's going to be the next great story in Iowa football lore, and I sure hope that's the case. But I do think Hank Brown has every opportunity to win that job. I think if he goes out there this spring and impresses Tim, I mean, I don't think there's any, especially now that what's his face left, his former OC at Wake Forest. He's gone now. Warren Ruggiero. He went and took a analyst job somewhere else. I guess I forget at this exact moment, but I don't know what Jeremy Hecklinski would have on the coaching staff to have this edge, other than he did seem to leapfrog Hank Brown at one point last season. But it sounded like during the second bye week that Hank Brown started to gain some of that ground back on him. So I guess in everything in me, I was with you at the end of December. I thought it'd probably be good to go get somebody, but they did have a number of places they needed to fill. And I really do believe that Iowa felt like, hey, if we're going to fill our roster, we better fill it with the people we need. If Tim Lester has confidence in these guys, I'm guessing he has more confidence in these guys than maybe some of the other position coaches have confidence in their players to ascend. That's what that tells me. And I was predicated on, solid defense and, good line play, etc. I do believe they need good quarterback play, right? We saw that the difference it made last year. But I do wish that Iowa had gotten somebody. Part of me wishes that. I just don't know that if the money was there, I'm sure they would have done that. But they felt the need to spend money elsewhere. And they finally have a guy, a coach in Tim Lester, who is adequate in evaluating and should be adequate in developing talent. These are his guys. These are no longer leftovers from the Brian Ferentz era. And, the only other regret is I wish Trayden Bessinger would have, I wish he'd be getting to school for the upcoming spring practice. I wish he was there now because, if he's as good as Rivals has him, as he's a top 10 quarterback in that class, then sure, he could compete for a starting job in year one if he's that good. I just think you're really behind the 8 ball not getting there early.
Yeah, I just think that Kirk and his staff have earned enough trust to determine that instead of going all out on one guy and riding all your transfer portal success, and of course they would have signed other players, but the majority of your portal success on one quarterback and not addressing other needs, I think it makes sense that if that's an either or proposition, that you go the route of shoring up multiple positions and going with what you've got at quarterback, because they have seen these guys play, or at least they sure saw Hank Brown play in practice every day and on the field a few times when it meant something.
Yeah, and Hecklinski got in there for mop-up duty, and obviously he was still getting reps in practice. But you're right, Hank Brown spent longer with the ball in his hands and with the offense at his disposal. Let's not forget he got there early for bowl prep before the Music City Bowl season prior. He and Jimmy Sullivan, and Jimmy Sullivan's another guy. Like, is he just at this point, for lack of a better word, is he just a wash up? Like, he doesn't get brought up at all. Things move quick enough nowadays with the portal and with quarterbacks especially, that if he's not even sniffing competition, then he'll be leaving at the next transfer portal window. I wouldn't have been shocked had he left this year. I had somebody get mad at me for bringing this up. I'm going to bring it up anyways. Last I knew, he was dating Addie Deal, who is an Iowa women's basketball freshman. That sometimes makes a difference. Mark, you know that. I mean, you followed some of these stories with these players that, part of the recruiting storyline is, oh, so-and-so's dating this person who's going to school here, So I don't know if that relationship, I couldn't care less at this point, but that is a fact that they were at one time dating. So maybe that keeps him here. But he is a guy that Brian Ferentz recruited, and then Tim Lester re-recruited him. But he also has been in the program for now over a year. And so he'll get another spring, another camp. There should be plenty. Like, they have bodies, people who have enough experience, even though it's limited. They do have enough combination of experience and head knowledge of this offense that they should have several guys competing for a starting job. Speaking of competition, I have not heard anything on Jackson Stratton. I believe he's the only guy left who entered the portal that has not found a home that I'm aware of, unless I missed something. Everybody else has found homes, and I'm just looking to see if there's any. I saw our good friend Elliot Clough about a month ago tweeting out about any FCS program in need of a quarterback that can come in and compete for starting snaps. Jackson Stratton's available, so sure hope he finds a home. I mean, I thought he really stepped up to the plate. There's a linebacker for Butler whose name is Jackson Stratton. I don't believe that's the same. That's not the same. That's not the same Jackson Stratton. So
we'll let you all know that Hawkeyes Live comes your way each and every Tuesday, 5 Eastern, 4 p.m., where it counts. And we are presented by FanDuel. Also, keep in mind that we've got Zach Heine hosting our Thursday night show, so you can talk Hawkeyes with him on Primetime Live right here on Thursday at 6 Central. And, of course, whether you're here enjoying our show or on a more regular basis with Corey at From the Hawkeye of the Storm, keep in mind that the Amazon link is in the description section of these videos here and also on Corey's videos. And it's just so simple to grab the Amazon link and support the channels by just shopping on Amazon, and it changes your shopping experience in no way. So it's the same shopping experience, doesn't cost you a penny, and you take some of that Amazon cash and send it to help support the voice of college football and From the Hawkeye of the Storm. So you can do it either place. And please like and subscribe. I will say this about the quarterback situation, and I fall into this as well. So I'm not just pointing my fingers at fans saying, oh, they're fickle and they make rash judgments, but I think we also have to somewhat dismiss Hank Brown's performance against Indiana in the fourth quarter, meaning that it's a handful of passes, and they were magnified because they were critical, playing the eventual national champion, close ball game, tie game, misses one throw that was one of the more amplified throws of the season and just a screen pass. But that doesn't mean that he can't grow and develop during the offseason. I just wasn't high on him from the standpoint of him playing and starting 2 games at Auburn, not playing that well, playing okay. And then number 2, that he wasn't able to win a job at Auburn against pretty mid-level. I'm not going to say awful quarterbacks, but okay quarterback play. Peyton Thorne, Jackson Arnold. Well, that Jackson Arnold would have only been last season. So basically, Peyton Thorne. I guess at one point, our buddy Texas State, Auburn, LSU, Lindsey.
Drake Lindsey.
Is it Drake? No, Drake Lindsey's the Minnesota quarterback. Can't think of his name.
Phillip. Is it Phillip?
No, TJ.
Okay.
TJ Finley. TJ Finley. That's
Okay.
the name I was looking for. Yes. Yes.
By the way, as I was talking about this, I believe and this is something again, I didn't see because I am not honed in on every single thing that happens everywhere. Just real quick, one thing notable to Iowa, this was news this week. Drake football just lost their head coach. He is going to be a position coach at Penn State, I believe. Am I right? Penn State? He's heading to a Big Ten school. I think it was Penn State. So that was kind of interesting. Head football coach at an FCS program is going to be a defensive coach, position coach at Penn State. And Jackson Stratton, I believe, has transferred to San Diego. Now, remember, he's from La Jolla. So he did find a home, apparently.
And that is not San Diego State.
No, that's San Diego from the Pioneer League.
Formerly coached by Jim Harbaugh.
Okay. I didn't know that.
That was his first quote unquote major job.
Yeah, I'm just looking to what's weird is nobody that I have seen has tweeted about this, so we'll have to send out a tweet. But that's what I'm seeing, yeah. Yeah. So that's good news.
Tweet out, Corey. We go to you for.
It looks like some people have tweeted it, just didn't get very far. So I find that interesting. But yeah, we'll tweet it out real quick. Why don't you promote yourself a little bit while I do this, Mark?
Yeah, we can always do that. We can talk about Hawkeyes Live, and that we can make a little grassroots effort, folks. You enjoy the show here each and every Tuesday. Again, it's at 4 Central Time. We've been here forever at this point, 233 shows. Please like and subscribe here at the Voice of College Football. And, of course, we're going to allow Corey to let you know what's going on from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Please like and subscribe, do all those good things. And, again, we've got a Thursday night show here with Zach Heine taking your calls Thursday, 6 Central on Iowa Prime Time. And this particular show and the channel and the network presented by FanDuel, which we will lead into a few things of note concerning our friends at FanDuel, like Iowa basketball. I'm starting to become just a tiny bit acquainted with these various basketball teams by just showing the FanDuel lines, which I understand. Yes, it is out. Is this game tonight?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, we got doubleheader tomorrow. Men's basketball at 5 Central, women's at 6:30 Central. So unfortunately, there'll be a half hour of overlap there.
So we see that Maryland is not necessarily as good as they used to be. That's for sure. At 2-10 in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I was talking to Coach Close about this the other night. It's weird because their head coach had some success at Virginia Tech and good coach, but yeah, they've struggled. Buzz Williams, if you remember that name, Mark.
I do.
But yeah, 2-10 in the league. Iowa, they were pushed by Maryland earlier in the Big Ten season, but they're one of Iowa's 2 plays. So they get, now with 20 conference games, 18 teams in the league, you play 3 teams twice. So Iowa gets Maryland, Purdue, and Nebraska twice. What's crazy is Nebraska's really good. Nobody expected it. So Maryland's the easiest task on that list. So this is a pretty big game tomorrow. I mean, it's one of those, it's hard to win on the road. They did just win 2 on the road at Washington, at Oregon. They also beat Indiana. I mean, these Hawkeyes right now, Mark, I know you don't care about college basketball, but they have won 6 straight games. And that's, we obviously got time for things to kind of derail, but this was a favorable part of the schedule, and they've taken care of business. It hasn't always been pretty, but if you win 6 straight games in the Big Ten, I'd say you're doing pretty well. Half of those have been on the road. So opportunity to win another one, and then they get a huge showdown against the top 15 Purdue team, sold out in Carver. I'll be there this Saturday. Huge game, mid-afternoon on Fox. So, and then they get Nebraska, then at Wisconsin, then Ohio State. I mean, it gets tough again. But they're in pretty good position right now for March Madness.
Is that Buzz Williams, formerly of Marquette?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Marquette, and then Vatech, and now Maryland.
Looking way ahead, if you want to throw a couple bucks at Iowa really doing something special this next season, we've got national championship odds with Iowa at 12,500 to, that's not 12,500 to 1. A lot of people mistake that. That means if you put down $100 and Iowa wins the national championship, you win 12,500.
I'll never. Hey, I'm not trying to take away from your promo. I'll never understand people who make bets like that. Well, first of all, I don't understand betting and gambling in general. I don't get the premise. I understand it's exciting to people and whatever, but what do you think the chances? I mean, you think those odds are pretty good for Iowa? Like, I guess if you wanted to dumb that down, right? That's what
125 to 1.
125 to 1. That's really not that bad. I mean, given the fact that Iowa hasn't even made a playoff yet, and we are officially in a 12-team draw bracket for at least one more season, correct? That's not moving last minute.
They have one other school with the same exact odds as Iowa, and that's SMU.
So who else has better odds than Iowa? Washington, Vandy. Oh wow.
Okay, we're going to the top here. Notre Dame,
okay,
and then Ohio State.
So Notre Dame's the favorite to win the national title, according to FanDuel. Interesting. Ohio State.
I think part of the thought process is that they've got an easy schedule. So obviously a huge step in getting to the national championship game and winning it would actually be just to get to the playoff.
Now, so all those, if you scroll down, all of those are pretty logical. LSU is going to have to take a big jump with Lane, obviously. But, I mean, all the other ones are pretty much blue bloods, power programs.
Florida's pretty high.
Yeah. Auburn.
For as bad as they've been, Auburn.
I mean, what is Utah going to be? What do you expect that program to be just further removed from the Whittingham era?
Well, they stayed in-house with a longtime disciple of Whittingham's with the defensive coordinator taking over. So they went with that philosophy of, staying with the same program, same mindset, same approach, which is probably the way to go. In some ways they're similar to other programs. Maybe we could put Iowa in that bucket, that they value that over getting maybe a slightly better coach, more experienced, or a flashier name going elsewhere.
Does SMU seem high to you? Now I'm looking through the rest of these schools. I'm like, actually, the school that doesn't seem to belong would be SMU. But I maybe that's just where you're going to put the top couple of 8. I mean, Virginia and Clemson are right behind them.
Well, Clemson has really fallen in the perspective of Vegas. They were, along with Texas and Penn State, the favorite to win the national championship last year. This has to be crazy. The lowest that they've been in Dabo Swinney's tenure, going back to his first season. The thing about comparing an ACC team that should be a contender versus a Big Ten team that should be a contender is that SMU may need to win the ACC to get into the playoff. Iowa, of course, could finish 4th in the Big Ten, make the playoff. But obviously, the Big Ten's much more difficult than the ACC.
And by the way, I see Chev Yoda in the chat asking if Vandy got a quarterback. Hard to imagine them repeating that season without Pavia. Well, we talked about this a few minutes ago, but according to Rivals, they have the best quarterback in the country coming in Jared Curtis. So I don't know. Do people down there in Nashville expect him to be the immediate starter? Do you know, Mark?
I don't know that, and I would think that they would have somebody else that they are looking to.
But if you have the number one quarterback in a class, he's probably going to have a shot to start,
Oh,
right?
sure. Yeah.
So, and if he ends up being really good, then they're right back where I mean, Diego Pavia, he wasn't a highly touted kid at all out of high school.
Yeah, everything I'm looking up just points to Jared Curtis.
I didn't realize that Pavia was a JUCO kid before he went to New Mexico State. You know where he played before New Mexico State?
No, I don't.
Do you care?
Sure. I'll put it back here somewhere. It may come in handy at some point.
Okay, he was at. Let's see here. I'm gonna find this. Somebody will probably beat me to it in the chat. He went to the New Mexico Military Institute.
You know what? I have heard that. Yes, I have heard that.
Interesting. I didn't even know that was a JUCO school. I mean, that's that's a pretty amazing jump when you think of a guy who's 5'8", whatever he is, 5'9", to jump from that, what I perceive to be a pretty low level of even JUCO football, all the way up to New Mexico State, which is, aren't they FBS now, Mark?
Sure. Yes.
And then
a good FBS.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden you're competing for a Heisman Trophy and an SEC title with Vandy. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. They almost won the Mountain West Conference Championship this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still disappointed that I blanked on Wisconsin linebackers from the last 10 years. So if I've forgotten all those names, I can't imagine that I'm going to remember about Diego Pavia's JUCO experience.
It's February. It's middle of February, Mark.
Except it is connected to now. See, sitting here just about a week ago during the Ohio State show, I was pulling out all sorts of Super Bowl facts and trivia and statistics all over the place. People couldn't believe it. That stuff I don't forget, but I got to remember Wisconsin linebackers. You are being asked, Corey, whether you're going to the game as a fan or media.
For this game on Saturday, I'll be there in the stands. Somebody offered me a ticket, and so I'll be there with a friend. Yeah, there's your answer. And did we get to the super chat from Bryce here?
Yes, we got a super chat. That might be the first one in like a year.
Hey, I was gonna say, and he pulled out the big guns for the $1.99. No,
$1.99. Thank you, Bryce. Appreciate that.
I'm not trying to downplay the
power
not of $2.
We appreciate every penny of it, but it is a bit humorous in some respects. Mark, are you going to the Iowa-Ohio State game? So technically, I can't answer that because 100% I don't know. I can't give you a definitive answer, but in all practical senses, I can answer that as a negative.
Why? Why can't you do it?
I'm going to fly up for one game.
Yes. You've said before you want to go to Kinnick.
Yes.
And visit Iowa. And what better opportunity than go to see Ohio State playing Kinnick?
And this is like a mid-October game?
I think so. Yeah, well, it's early. Yeah, it's early.
It is early.
Let me give you the actual.
We should have some decent weather.
Oh no, it'll be nice. February. I'm looking at the basketball schedule. They play Ohio State in February. No, they play Ohio State on October 3rd.
That would be fun. I would have to do it up big with all sorts of shows and videos and.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great time for an Iowa football game because I think it's just starting to get cool, but not cold. It should not be cold October 3rd. By the way, Troy, this is great. What a great comment. He says, Mark forgot about the linebackers from last year, where you can remember the third pitch in the fourth inning of a mid-August game between the Reds and the Cardinals in 78.
I was spitting out Super Bowl attendance statistics. Like Super Bowl 1, 61, 946, Bart Starr,
Bart Starr.
Bart Starr, Super Bowl I, threw for 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, but I'm forgetting his attempts and completion. 16 to 23. There we go. 16
That's
to
a good
23.
stat line.
Yeah.
Uh,
Those I remember, but
shall
Joe
we?
Schobert, gone.
Joe Schobert.
TJ Edwards, good
Yeah.
call there by you. I can't remember Borland's first name.
We still don't know Borland's first name.
I keep thinking Tough Borland, but he's an Ohio State linebacker. Borland,
Chris Borland.
Wisconsin. Chris Borland was a much better player.
So
although both of them played in the league.
Should we address the combine? This was interesting. You and I chatted about it briefly before we hit the live button. 9
yes,
players.
At a time when over the last couple of weeks, I'll lead you into it, Corey, by stating we've had several conversations about the emergence of Mark Gronowski, the improved play, the return to health. I think we've and others have conjectured that that's largely been led to his, improved play, and just that he looks the part of an NFL prospect. And then, boom, no invite to the NFL Combine, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. These reports have been circulating today. I think it was Scott Docterman maybe tweeted it out first. I don't know, but somebody passed it along to me. Logan Jones, Bo Stevens, Jennings Dunker, Caden Weegan, Drew Stevens, Max Llewellyn, Carson Shire, Xavier Wampa, TJ Hall, all reportedly invited. Not invited, Mark Gronowski, Aaron Graves. I mean, if you're an Iowa fan, you're probably going to complain or speculate on anybody from that list not getting invited. Honestly, I mean, I'm not a scout, but I would have guessed if you're going to leave 2 people off the list, it might be Shire and I was going to say Weegan, but it's like Weegan is he's such an outlier, right? He's just such an exception to what we'd expect. I don't know. I mean, I think almost would have expected them all get shots at the combine. I know they can only invite so many people, but and you made this comment here a couple of weeks ago, and I talked about Mark Gronowski being an MVP at the Shrine Bowl, and you said you used to watch all those games and have them pegged, and I don't know how many there are now, but Gronowski and Weegan and Shire were all in the Shrine Bowl. Aaron Graves was at the American Bowl. And then the Senior Bowl, it was like, I want to say Dunker, Drew Stevens, Llewellyn, and there may have been another guy or two there. But I was just going to ask you, how would you rank those postseason bowl games?
Oh,
Shrine Bowl, Senior Bowl, American Bowl, and then are there other ones that I'm missing?
Yeah, you're getting an outdated evaluation of these games by far.
I feel like it used to be such an honor to get invited to one of these.
Yes.
But anymore, it's still an honor, but it's like so many things, it's sort of lost its luster.
Yeah, these All-Star games used to be a big deal. Now, you watched the one that was on the NFL Network, the Shrine game.
I was in bed with the flu.
Well, I'm not making light of it. I'm leading into a question. Did they have the players, because this used to be tradition where they would have multiple patches, different logos on there. So they still do that.
Yeah, I had no idea what that meant. And then I saw this running back from Houston that had a big Hawkeye logo on the top of his helmet. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, you weren't aware of that. That's a longstanding tradition, just as like camaraderie, we're a team, so we're going to put all the, and it was irritating and confusing though, watching the game, trying to figure out who these guys are at the time and who they played for. When you didn't have a zillion graphics thrown in your face all the time to keep you up to date. Like I watched these 2 Super Bowls this week from the 70s. It's amazing. You don't see a graphic for like 10 minutes during these games.
Hula Bowl. There's one that
the Hula Bowl. I was going to bring that up. Yep.
Andrew brings up. That's another one. So I guess my point is I had heard rumblings on social media. Again, take that for what you may. I didn't watch the American Bowl, but it sounded like Aaron Graves was impressing some people in practice down there. We know Gronowski was really impressive at the Shrine Bowl. I mean, what else could the guy do? He impressed all week long, won the starting job over the other three quarterbacks who are all really productive, and then he puts on a show and wins MVP for the game. So for him not to get invited, yeah, it is odd. I mean, I would like to see data, recent data, as to what percentage of guys, like how unlikely is it that you get drafted if you don't get invited to the combine? How many
That's
guys
where I was going.
how
Yeah.
many guys get invited to the combine? Do you know?
350 range, 350 to 400.
So how many guys actually get drafted?
Well, it's the magic number used to be 256 plus whatever compensatory picks were added to that. So
320.
7 times.
Yeah, 329 is for the combine.
Okay. That's the exact number every
Yes.
year, or
it hovers around
this?
330 annually. This year it's 329.
Okay. I was off by 20.
257 players are selected in the draft. So I don't know. That would make me think that if you're not getting invited to the combine, you have a very low chance of getting drafted. But I can't imagine Graves. That's what makes this so weird. I can't imagine Graves, and honestly, now Gronowski. I have a hard time. I mean, it's more likely to me that Gronowski has to find a team and then win his way there. But Graves, man, that surprises me big time.
Yeah, it's tough on quarterbacks because there's only one that plays. Therefore, if a particular team is set at quarterback and don't particularly are enamored with you, then you can pass by dozens of teams immediately. Whereas defensive linemen are obviously needed by everyone in bulk.
So who are the top quarterbacks? I've got a list here. Fox ranked their top NFL prospects for this coming draft. How many of these can you get if you started naming them?
I'm just going to start naming quarterbacks. Drew Aller. Okay. I'm not going to try to hit it, but Cade Klubnik, Ty Simpson.
You missed the biggest one.
Well, yeah, I'm just throwing out quarterbacks. The biggest one wouldn't be Carson Beck. It would Fernando Mendoza.
Mm-hmm. Taylon Green, Arkansas.
Okay.
Garrett Nussmeier.
Okay. I can get them all if you want me to get them all. I'll just go team by team, and
I don't know that you would get number 7 on their list
because he's one of your FCS guys, probably.
One of my FCS guys. Yeah. No, he is an FCS guy. Cole Payton, North Dakota State.
Yeah.
Randy Hedberg, another great Randy Hedberg product up there at NDSU. Pavia's 8. You mentioned him. This was interesting. Haynes King is 10. Meanwhile, Haynes King got beat out by Gronowski at the Shrine Bowl. I mean, again, I know it's the Shrine Bowl is what the Shrine Bowl is, but it's just interesting. They have him in his top 10. And then Joe Fagnano, another guy that Gronowski got beat out, he's at number 11 from UConn.
I should do this sometime. You talk about going up to the Ohio State-Iowa game. I would like to go to an NFL combine sometime and work the NFL combine. I don't think I would want to go every year, but I'd like to experience it one time. Then I would also like to experience like Shrine Bowl week, East-West Shrine Bowl, because what I'm envisioning are kind of two approaches to evaluating these players. The East-West Shrine game and these other all-star games are more about the football ability. You know, they're not only watching the game being played on Saturday or Sunday, they're watching the one-on-one matchups throughout the week and watching these guys compete against each other in practice all week. And then of course, they get their informal interviews and that sort of thing. But the combine is very exactly what it states. It's a combine. It's very regimented testing. How high can you jump? How fast can you run? How fast can you get around these cones? And then they have the Wonderlic test, of course, for the players to determine how smart you are to a certain extent. How intelligent are you? And then also they more or less formally grill you to find out about your past and how you think about things and process things, and where guys like Shadur Sanders make a idiot of themselves by talking about how they don't need anyone and how great they are.
By the way, Mark Gronowski did come in at number 12, which was their final quarterback that Fox ranked. Do you want to guess how many quarterbacks usually get drafted each year in the 7 rounds of an NFL draft on average?
On average, I would say 9.
AI says 10 to 15.
Really? Okay.
So if Gronowski is the 12th best prospect, he's on the edge, I guess. I mean, he's right there on the edge, which I expected. I don't think you or I expected him to go higher than 6th or 7th round. But can he get to that? Could he sneak up to 5th or 6th without a combine invite? I'm assuming Beathard got invited to the combine, didn't he? I'm assuming he did. He was drafted in the 3rd round? He was drafted really high. Let me just see if
sounds right.
Yeah, he was in the combine. Yeah, 2017 combine. Yeah. So that'll be interesting. The one guy that was in the Shrine Bowl that he beat out that's not listed in the top 12 is Miller Moss. So he'd be another one. I don't know what the scouts have to say about Miller Moss. He seems a little, I'm not going to even say that because then if I'm wrong, somebody will jump on me. But I was going to say he seems a little small. He's 6'2", 210. I mean, that's small compared to Gronowski, who's like 6'2", 250. He's not 250, but he's not Deacon Hill, but he's at least 230.
Deacon Hill. Miller Moss does not have a skill set that excites anyone. He's not a dynamic. He doesn't have a great arm. He doesn't have a plus arm. He doesn't have plus wheels.
So what is he?
Size.
What is he for an NFL prospect? He's just not an NFL quarterback in your mind?
He might be a 3rd stringer and hold a clipboard, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
because probably I think he understands the game and can make the right decisions.
And 3rd stringer in the league, boy, I think that's a pretty good job. If you can find it, right? Protect your body and make a lot of money holding a clipboard. So, and probably make your second adult life as a coach.
Yeah. For sure. Well, folks, we do appreciate you stopping by, as always, for Hawkeyes Live right here at the Voice of College Football, presented by FanDuel. Check out those national championship odds. Get yourself $12,500 for just $100 down if you want to play Iowa here in February. And then, of course, the basketball games coming up against Maryland tomorrow night.
Women get Washington
post game.
Yeah, women get Washington at home. Men get Maryland on the road. So we'll have basically a doubleheader starting at 5 o'clock, ending at around 8:30, and then we'll have post game coverage following the women's game for both.
All right, folks, you're all set up for post game with basketball over the next couple nights. Said from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Corey and I should be back next Tuesday at 4 Central, and we will see you then.